Luffy, Bon Clay, Ivankov, Buggy, and many more. Impel Down is a masterpiece in story writing, and this is only one of many arcs and storylines in one of the longest running anime in history, One Piece. With many arcs and storylines to cover, you may be wondering why this is the one I picked to cover. This is simple. One Piece is a story defined by the struggles and the dreams of the crew of the Straw Hat Pirates. This arc in particular is full of struggles for one very special crew member, the captain of the Straw Hat crew, Monkey D. Luffy. Newly separated from his crew, Luffy struggles through the prison from hell on his way to achieve his dream to save his sworn brother, Portgas D. Ace, from the grips of the world government, who threatens to execute Ace, all while Luffy lacks the strength and the power of his crew behind him. Impel Down is the largest, most secure, inescapable prison in the One Piece universe. The prison holds the strongest, most fearsome pirates to ever sail this world. The prison is waterlocked, mostly submerged, and located along a very fast sea current that is only accessible to marine ships, called the Tarai Current, and the band of sea that spans the whole world, where no water currents move or wind blows, called the Calm Belt. Don't make a noise, we're keeping it in. The prison itself has 5 levels. Descending farther below the water, the farther we go down, the stronger the inmates being held, and the stronger prison guards to hold them. Okay, so Impel Down is no joke. Good thing Luffy is too smart. No, it's a good thing Luffy's too slippery to get caught by the world government, because I don't think his crew would be able to get in there and save him. Where this arc begins is right after the Straw Hat crew is separated and Luffy is stranded on a strange island called Amazon Lily that's primarily inhabited by snakes, women, and mushrooms. Initially, comedically being mistaken for a woman and quickly finding out that error, Luffy is looked down upon and the women don't trust him because they don't know men. Luffy being Luffy quickly gains their trust and the adoration of the ruler of the island, the captain of the Kuja Pirates and the warlord of the sea, Boa Hancock. The scene where Luffy gains the trust of Boa Hancock and the women of Amazon Lily is still one of my favorite parts of the season, because it just shows how selfless Luffy is. This whole season has some of the best character development, but just getting to see that in Luffy is just mind-boggling, because he's separated from his crew, his brother's at death door. I mean, he doesn't know that yet, but still, he just gives up his opportunity to get off this island. It's just very heartwarming. And back to the thing about character development, you get to see so many other characters further on, we'll talk about them later, you get to see so many of them just progressing it better or funnier or worse, or it's just a lot of character development. It's just beautiful. Another thing is that Oda actually didn't plan on using Amazon Lily right away. He had planned to bring it in much, much later in the series. Later on, while discussing Luffy's departure from Amazon Lily so he could reconvene with his crew, he finds out that his brother, the 2nd Division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates, Portgas D. Ace, has been captured by Blackbeard, an up-and-coming member of the worst generation of pirates, and was turned over to the world government. And in turn, Blackbeard was made a warlord of the sea. Ace, now arrested, is facing execution for his crimes against the world government. Luffy can't let that happen. He wants to save his brother. He needs to save his brother. And where else is his brother being held but the marine prison Impel Down? Using his newly found connection to Boa Hancock, as a member of the 7 warlords, she is able to request a ride to and a tour of Impel Down, securing Luffy a little ride-along. Docked on the island prison where his brother is being held and avoiding being noticed by the big boss himself, Warden Magellan, by hitching a ride with Boa Hancock, Luffy sneaks in. Step 1 is done, Impel Down is breached, and this is going to be the last time Luffy sees of his girlfriend for a little while, so we're just going to ignore her for now. But seeing Luffy go in without his crew is just wild, because typically his crew goes in guns ablaze. That's typically how they do their stuff. This is a whole different departure, because he's clumsy, he's awkward, he's Luffy. It's just weird seeing him be him trying to do what he's doing. That doesn't take away from it, but he's taking on a huge challenge on his own, with Luffy being his own goofy, awkward self. Seeing him take on a challenge as him is just wild. He's got this huge lofty goal. He's got to break into this prison. He's got to save his brother. He's got to get out. It's just wild. I love this. After skillfully, tactfully, and most importantly comedically entering the prison, Luffy is already facing one of his toughest challenges here, finding his brother Ace. Luffy, armed with Ace's Viva card, is let loose on Impel Down and is dead set on searching every crack and crevice, and he stumbles across a familiar face, a certain red-nosed face. I'm of course talking about none other than the genius jester himself, Buggy the Clown, who is attempting his own escape from Impel Down. But what is Buggy doing here? Well, Buggy went to an island expecting treasure and stumbled across a marine base. Buggy's trying to escape, and Luffy's here to get his brother and then escape himself. Buggy being chased through the labyrinth of Impel Down by the Blue Gorilla Guards, not really trusting his own ability to escape. Much to Buggy's dismay, he finds out that Luffy is not actually trying to leave yet. He is trying to go further down, and now Buggy is dragged in for the ride. Seeing Buggy again is just really refreshing. It's just silly knowing how he got there, and Luffy just forcing Buggy's hand and dragging him into hell is just so Luffy. Seeing him on the same team for the first time, that's wild. I love that. And just thinking on the part of Buggy's perspective, Luffy with a goal has got to be the most scary thing he's probably ever seen in his life. Literally jumping into the next floor of Impel Down, we see a silhouetted face of another familiar character. It turns out that many members of Baroque Works are now inmates of Impel Down, as we will soon see. I love Impel Down so much because the floors themselves are torture methods, and this floor is called Wild Beast Hell. It just adds like a bunch of wacky monsters for Luffy to fight, and of course, Luffy being Luffy just makes quick work of them using his rubber powers, but even then, he's just like, even when he's like outmatched by them, he's just too slippery, he can't be caught. To say Luffy is struggling at this point would be inaccurate, but his search for his brother is far from done. And on another hand, Buggy released a bunch of the inmates on this floor because he found some just lying around, and he amassed a huge following. Kinda right now, it just seems more inconsequential, but later on, just going forward in the series, it's just funny seeing these guys because they are not only eternally grateful to Buggy for rescuing them, but they actually seem to worship him as a god above men, and it's just so funny knowing that Buggy is just this false god to them. Buggy didn't do the things that they preach of him, or at least not in the way that they say he did. He released them from their cells, but he did not free them from Impel Down. Spoiler alert, that was Luffy and his motley crew of enemies turned allies, next of which is the newly freed Mr. 3, Galdino, the Doru no Mi, aka Wax Fruit user from Baroque Works, who was previously seen on Little Garden when he tried to turn some of Luffy's beloved crew members, Zoro, Nami, as well as Princess Phoebe of Alabasta, into wax statues. Mr. 3 wants to escape, but it seems Luffy and Buggy are now his only hope to get out. And coincidentally, to Galdino's dismay, Luffy wants to save his brother and is only going further. And with the protagonist luck that Luffy has, Galdino, Buggy, and Straw Hat Luffy enter floor 3 of Impel Down, Starvation Hell. Mr. 3 is a blast from the past. We haven't got to see him in a while. He was kind of a forgettable character because, sure, he may have actually had the Straw Hats on the ropes. He wasn't all that physically tough, it was mostly just his devil fruit doing all the work. Jumping into floor 3 of Impel Down, I just gotta say I really like this one. It's like a ruined desert. It's like, I just really like the way that this floor looks. This floor, with its harsh climate, is rife with inmates who are just like Buggy and Galdino and want nothing to do with this place and are trying to get out. Luffy is starting to feel this environment as it's actually the first floor we actually see him like start to struggle on. Floor 3 is interesting as it introduces more characters, namely the chief guards of Impel Down, the strongest and highest ranking members of prison staff. The first we meet is Chief Guard Saldeth, who captures Straw Hat & Co., which, as we know, protagonist shenanigans occur, and as per the usual, the trio are freed. Buggy and Galdino decide this is their opportunity to escape the very persistent main character that we all love, and decide to go up instead of further into the depths of their worst nightmare. The duo very unintentionally stumble across the Baroque Works member, Mr. 2 Bon Clay. Yes! Mr. 2 Bon Clay. Everybody wanted to see him after he saved the Straw Hat crew on Alabasta, and now we know this is where he was taken directly after he saved the crew. I just want to throw this in here. I love Bon Clay. He is one of the best characters in the entire series. I love this guy. Bon Clay, against all odds and despite the harsh conditions, remains very optimistic and energetic. Buggy and Galdino, still separated from Straw Hat Luffy, release Bon Clay, who still cherishes his friendship with Straw Boy, and sets out to aid him in his quest to rescue his sworn brother. And meet another chief guard of Impel Down staff, Minotaurus. I must interject with a little bit of a spoiler alert. Thanks to recent manga knowledge, we find out that these characters are actually failed Zone Fruit awakenings. Blazing hell. I don't think I need to explain what type of torture this floor uses to inflict on its inmates, but I should also mention this floor is closest to what people imagine when they hear the word hell. A fiery blaze deep beneath the surface, and that touch is just glorious that Oda had to throw in. And you just actually get that feeling that Luffy's actually descending into hell. The big thing on this floor is that Luffy finally comes in contact with the warden of the prison, the big man himself, Warden Magellan. Warden Magellan's Devil Fruit makes it impossible to win a hand-to-hand combat fight against him, and Luffy, being a hand-to-hand fighter, swiftly loses to Warden Magellan. Now, I know we didn't stay on that floor for too long, but I really wanted to get to the next floor because that one's where things start really picking up. And I just love this next floor because it just reminds me of the saying, it's gonna be a cold day in hell, because, you know, hell is typically hot. I love this one. I don't know. I just gotta take a second to talk about this because Luffy being defeated is huge. We haven't seen him lose many times in the past, but usually his crew is there to bail him out, or he has an idea that's so dumb it actually works. But this time Luffy can't. He's on death's door and he has no crew to the rescue. Except for Bon Clay, best boy Bon Clay. My man Bon Clay begins looking for a way to save Straw Boy in any way he can find. He needs a miracle. Luck is on Luffy's side. They've heard rumors of a certain person, rumored to be a miracle worker. Luffy was rescued and brought to New Kama Land, a hole in the wall, a secret place unknown to most inmates and to all of Impel Down's staff. The ruler of this land, Emporio Ivankov, the user of the Horu Horu no Mi, aka the Horomon Fruit. Ivankov uses this devil fruit on Luffy and gives him a second shot at life. A very painful, slow-acting chance at a second shot. Ivankov at this point is a new character, but here we find out he's a member of the Revolutionary Army and a dear friend of Luffy's father, Monkey D. Dragon, a mysterious character that we may have to cover in the future. Consider clicking the subscribe button to hear more secrets about the father of the future king of the pirates himself, Monkey D. Dragon, and the future pirate king himself, Monkey D. Luffy, and so much more. Ivankov, now armed with the knowledge that Luffy is the son of Dragon, aligns themselves with Luffy, both in an attempt to escape, but also save Straw Hat's brother, Porcus D. Ace, as Ivankov revealed the knowledge to Luffy that there is indeed a level 6 of Impel Down. So here we are at the lowest depths of hell, purgatory of people who await nothing but death itself. Accompanied by our new ally, Luffy races towards his brother with the aid of Ivankov and their powers. They find Ace's cell and it's empty. Well, aside from Ace's former cellmate, a fishman named Jinbei, first son of the sea, the 7th warlord, and the man who knows where Ace is. Well, Ace isn't at Impel Down anymore. That means we aren't done yet, so stick around for part 2. We'll get to know Jinbei another time, but he will have to remain the secret of Shark Daddy for now. Let me know down in the comments what I can do to make these videos more enjoyable, and if One Piece isn't your thing, check out some of our other videos. Peace out!